Hey guys, my name is Deja, and today I'm gonna talk to you guys about my level 2 fieldwork experience and also give you guys some recommendations on how you guys can thrive in your fieldwork experience as well. And just to make the most out of your experience. So I go to LaGuardia Community College. I'm almost done. I'm currently in my second level 2 placement and I'm in my fourth week. My first level 2 placement was in Brooklyn at Borough Park Center, and I really liked it there. It was with elderly, and you have to be like really open to working in a different placements and stuff because I wasn't too sure if I wanted to work with elderly at first, and I actually enjoyed my experience there at that level 2 placement, and the staff was really nice. It was myself, a OTA student, and there was one other student there, but she was in the occupational therapy program, and we would always like bounce ideas off of each other. So that's another thing that you guys can do if you guys have other students at your facility, even if they don't go to your college. You guys can always share ideas or experiences because they're working with different patients, you're working with different patients, so something that you may have done with your patient, you can recommend it to them or vice versa. What else we have here? So my second level 2 placement, I'm actually currently at a pediatric facility and it's called OT for Kids. And I love it there. Currently, I'm not going in. It's being done virtually through teletherapy. You guys should be familiar with it because I feel like teletherapy is like a big thing now due to COVID. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. My fieldwork experience has been through COVID, so a lot of these facilities were not taking students. So I am truly grateful and really appreciate all of those fieldwork supervisors and educators that are out there still taking students because it's really hard to get placements. So I am thankful for that, and you guys should be thankful for it as well. So it is virtual. So when I'm working with my students, usually the parents are around. That was something that I was a little bit nervous about because I'm actually a pretty shy person in general. But ever since joining the Occupational Therapy Assistance Program, they have really brought me out of my bubble. And I make it my business, and like I really try hard to be more outspoken and and say what's on my mind. And I would recommend that to you guys as well. So with this fieldwork placement, you pretty much have to come up with activities, obstacle courses if the parents allow it in their homes, pretty much to work on their goals that they currently have, and you just have to find a way. Some parents don't allow the obstacle courses, and you have to think of other things to come up with, such as ripping paper, Play-Doh, different activities that you could do with the kids, blocks, writing. There's a whole bunch of things that you could think of. So some of the goals that I work with my students, my clients currently, are handwriting, motor control, critical thinking, executive thinking, also like spatial awareness as they're writing. Organization is like a big thing because a lot of the times they have papers that we are using for our therapy sessions, and they have to keep track of their papers, and they have to be able to find them or put them in a place where they'll have access to them for our next session if we're going to be using it again. And also, like, they were sent home packets to use for our sessions. So they have to go through these packets and look for the page that we're working on. We also work on maintaining focus throughout the session, and teletherapy is really hard to keep a kid focused sometimes, but you have to keep them entertained using your therapeutic use of self. That's a really big thing. So a lot of the times your personality comes into play when it comes to that. Um, so let me tell you guys some of the things that I learned in my field work. Notes is a big thing. I was super nervous about the notes, and I definitely made this clear to my supervisor. I just want to work on notes. Notes, give me all the notes. Like, let me write your notes. Even though, like, it was something that I wasn't so comfortable with writing, that's something I knew that I needed to work on, because if I'm going to be doing it in the field, when I'm actually practicing therapy, I want to be able to know what I'm doing. So now's the time while you're in field work to make sure you work on those notes and getting them done on time, because you don't want them to stack up. I learned a lot also about sensory integration. So in the pediatrics facility, they really believe in sensory integration, and I learned a lot about it. Sensory such as vestibular, proprioception, also tactile. Vestibular actually helps your body to release histamine. Proprioception helps your body to release serotonin. And then tactile helps your body. Tactile is a deep touch. Deep touch helps your body to release dopamine. And then also, if you feel like you're giving these kids or your client that sensory input that they need and you're still not seeing the results that you want to see, then a lot of the times you should recommend them to nutritionists, because it might be something to do with their diet, because what they're eating, it might not be giving them enough of what they need, those proteins that they need in order to get those hormones that they need to be able to self-regulate and, give their body that feeling that they need. What else? So when I had first started Fieldwork, I was able to sit in on her interviewing a parent for one of the students, and she was letting the parent know, like, hey, maybe you should see a nutritionist. And I was wondering, like, like what? But once she explained it to me, like, it made it so much clearer. So, yeah. Some of my recommendations for anyone who is starting, or like I said, if you're already in your field work, is to pretty much explain to your supervisor the best way that you learn. Also, ask all the questions that you have now. Do not wait. Like, once you have that question, ask it. Like I said, you don't want to later on be practicing in your field. You're going to have to practice in your field at some point. You don't want to be wondering about it then. So do your research, and ask all the questions that you can, so you can get that clarification. If you don't understand something, do your research. If you've done your research and you still don't understand, then ask your fieldwork educator. Or you could also go to your professor, because you should still be having those fieldwork seminars every week, as I am. And you could bring it up as a discussion in class as well. Be creative with your interventions. So the activities that you come up, be really creative. I know a lot of the times when you get to your fieldwork placement, you'll see people doing like a lot of the same things, and you will fall into that. But try not to do that. Don't be afraid to be creative and come up with your own ideas, because I was actually surprised, like, when I suggested something to my fieldwork educator that I wanted to try something, they were like, okay, that's actually what we want you to do. Like, let's go. Like, and even if they feel like it may not work, they'll let you do the activity with your patient, and then later on, depending on if this is how the supervisor is, they'll discuss with you, okay, so why don't you think it worked, or what could you do next time maybe to get this activity to work for your patient. And yeah, I think that's about it. So if you guys have any comments or questions, just write them below and I'll get to you guys the fastest as soon as I can. Okay, later guys.